Good morning, everyone, and welcome into the Spotlight Omaha podcast, where we take you around the city of Omaha, introduce you to local business owners, influential figures, and people who are making an impact on our community. I'm Jimmy Allen. Today, I'm joined by Dave Triplett from Hawaiian Fluid Art. We are sponsored by Pixel Fire Marketing. Pixel Fire Marketing is a locally owned marketing firm who specializes in website design, creating social media ads, and engaging your business online. If you need help with any of that, check out pixelfiremarketing.com. Today, we're coming to you live from the Pyramid Contractor Studio. Dave, thank you for being here today. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We've known each other for a little while now. I've been excited to talk to you about this new venture. You've been in real estate for 20 years, but you recently started a franchise. You purchased a franchise in Hawaii Fluid Art. Why was it the right time in your life to not only continue to sell real estate, but start this new venture as well?
That's a great question. So I had co-owned a business with my sister, the Amish furniture store in Elkhorn, and it was time for us to be brother and sister again, quite frankly.
Sure.
So I sold my half to her husband, and I was just looking for something new. And this literally just kind of fell in my lap. A franchise broker brought it to me, and I loved it. Along with my wife, we both loved it. It's something we both can do. And so voila! A year later, after starting, we opened our doors to our first location.
Okay, so this will be episode number 89, I believe, and I think you're the 11th person we've had in that has decided to buy into a franchise or become a franchise. Why do you think we've seen this kind of surge of people that are looking for the next stage in their life, taking a look at maybe something that's already established, and not necessarily being able to create scorched earth ground up, but take an idea, kind of make it their own and morph it into what they want to do at the last part of their career?
Well, I mean, for us, it was mostly a kind of a comfort level. You know, when you buy into a franchise, you have the support of opening a new business. While I had owned businesses in the past, there's a lot of aspects I hadn't been through. And having that resource at your fingertips anytime you have a question about all the little things when you're opening a new business, that's probably, I think, why franchises do so well for people like me who are opening their first franchise location.
Well, that's an interesting point then. What were some of the questions that you had that maybe you needed answers to? Kind of, you guys haven't been open very long, you just opened in late March. What were some of the questions you had that maybe either surprised you or you didn't know that type thing?
As far as opening the business?
Opening this business specifically, when we're talking about Hawaiian Fluid Art.
Well, I've never been an artist per se, and so that was probably the first thing. Is like, well, can anyone do this? I mean, the key to our success is that if it's easy and everybody can do it, people will come back time and time again. And so a year ago in May, we went to the corporate headquarters for a Discovery Day. Okay. And there we were able to actually do some of the projects to get our hands wet, so to speak, our feet wet. Once we came out of that Discovery Day, I mean, it was a no-brainer for us. It was exactly what we wanted, exactly what we wanted to do. There were some things I really liked about the concept. It's got a fairly low overhead, fairly low cost of entry. So for us, yeah, it just fit. Plus, we can both do it together, which is something we enjoy.
How big of a deal is it for you to be able to do it with you and your wife and kind of do this venture together and both not only run the business, but kind of have your fingerprints on it in different ways?
Yeah, that's a good question. And, I mean, it's kind of scary in a way because,
sure,
you both got your own lives, you're doing your own thing, and all of a sudden, bam, you're working together, virtually every day. And I'm very fortunate. I've got an incredible wife that supports me.
And her name is
Joanne.
Shout out to Joanne.
And we just fit together, And she even made a comment last night, actually, where to my sister, she was telling her, although we're working together, we're not together the whole time. I spend a lot of time on the back end doing the business side of things. So I'm in our little office in our back storeroom working while she's out front working on projects, greeting and meeting customers, that type of thing.
Do you have a favorite story? I mean, like we said, you haven't been open that long yet. Have you have a favorite story from opening the location thus far up until now?
Well, I do. There's one I can think of that. There's two actually. it's the response you get from the people that makes it so incredible.
Absolutely.
And we had a group in a few months ago, and the lady, I would say she was probably in her mid to late 20s, so not like an 8-year-old. And she got done with her project, and she was literally jumping up and down, dancing. She
Sure.
was so excited because she had never been able to create something beautiful because she didn't have that artistic talent like people like myself. So just seeing people be able to do that. And then recently we had QLI, Quality Living Incorporated.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
They work with people with spinal cord damage and brain damage, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they brought 4 of their residents from their long-term ward. It was just a unique experience. I mean, one of them couldn't speak, so we picked the paint colors. I'd hold up a paint color and I'd say blue or red, or blue, and if he wanted blue, he'd smile. He'd just go like this.
Sure. That's awesome.
So that's how I communicated. And we literally did our fluid art pours. So this is one of the fluid art pours. We had this sitting over his lap because he was in kind of.
You got to tilt it up a little bit. There you go. Right there, you can see it on camera. All right.
He was in a kind of a lay down, I don't know, gurney type wheelchair.
Sure.
And so we put a pad over the top of him, and he did his pour right on his lap as best as he could. And seeing those guys come out and being able to create something unique and beautiful was awesome.
Let's talk about the studio a little bit. For anybody that doesn't or hasn't had the chance to look it up, and Dave's website scrolling across the bottom there, HawaiiFluidArt.com. If somebody doesn't know what Hawaii Fluid Art, can you give us like an overall view of what exactly you guys do? Because as you can see, Dave's brought some stuff in today. It's very beautiful design, stuff he's done himself, stuff that's been done by the studio. What exactly, describe your business to somebody that may not know what it is.
You bet. Well, so we're an art studio that does classes every day that anybody can do, literally. For instance, the fluid painting, we don't use paintbrushes. And so there's not really a lot of room for error. You choose your colors, you pour the paint onto the canvas or a charcuterie board. We teach you how to layer your cup properly, and then when it's done, we manipulate the canvas, move it back and forth, and it just creates these really cool designs.
They're beautiful, yeah, absolutely.
Unique every single time. You could not duplicate one if you wanted. But not just the fluid art. We also have our resin tumblers where you come in and you can custom design your own resin tumbler. You can add personalizations. We had somebody add did a red one with the Huskers logo on there. So the tumblers are great. The charcuterie boards are great. You can add wine glasses. We've got a coaster class. We've got a patch party where you can design your own hat using various patches. It's just a very unique, fun environment. When you walk in, you feel like you're in Hawaii. So we always tell people classes are about an hour. We always say, it's like a 1-hour vacation from your everyday life.
Cheaper than a flight to Oahu as well.
Absolutely.
You and I talked a little bit about marketing and advertising when you guys first opened. We had a discussion about the demographics and the type of people and the age groups that you were looking for. Has that kind of stayed true to what you thought it would be? We kind of talked about a few of the people that have visited the studio since then. We talked a lot about the younger demographic, but it sounds like you're getting a little bit of the older demographic. What are you kind of still thinking, somewhere in the middle, happy medium, or is it, hey, we think we need to cater to a little bit of a demographic than we thought when we first originally opened?
Well, I've been saying for a long time, age 3 to 103 is perfect for our studio.
Sure.
I know that's kind of vague, but
I think you're spot on, though.
but it is true. And our youngest fluid pourer so far today is two years old. We had a girl in.
So maybe we need to change it to 2 to 103.
Yeah, but I can tell you the twos. I've done it. I've tried it with a couple of girls, little.
Younger.
Girls. Yeah, and they struggle a little bit. So 3 is probably a little more safe. But I have to admit, primarily the business is driven by females. So when you're doing marketing, they're the ones that tend to plan those sort of things. But it doesn't have to be. And so we cast a wide
painting is masculine, guys.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is that when somebody does come in, a guy, and they're kind of like rigid at first, once they get into it, their eyes open up and they probably enjoy it more.
Look how beautiful this artwork is. It'd be kind of hard to not be, feel like if you create something that looks that good, it'd be kind of hard to be disappointed about it.
Yeah.
And we're catching up with Dave Triplett here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing inside the Pyramid Contractors Studio at pyramidroof.com. You never have to settle for less. Dave, for you, when we talk about growth, and it's in your bio, anybody that's reading and catching up on Dave today knows that there's a possibility of more studios coming. If we're talking growth in another studio, are we talking 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road? Do you have any idea of when you guys might want to move to, I guess, phase 2 at this point?
Well, I mean, we've been open 4 months. It depends. I could see probably sometime next year of opening a second studio. We've got license for 5 in Omaha and Lincoln. And I could see our next location would most likely be Lincoln.
Yeah.
Because I'd want to open it up to another population base like that. And so I could see that opening as early as the summer of 25 for sure.
We kind of mentioned it in the first 10 minutes there, but you're also a real estate agent.
Yeah.
At any point, do you want to do one or the other? Do you want to always do both until you decide to retire? Is it play it by ear? This might change by tomorrow. How's your outlook on that?
Well, I don't think I'll ever give up real estate.
Sure.
It's just been a passion of my life. My very first professional job, I managed apartments, which basically I was selling real estate, and that and then after getting into it in 2004, it just fit. It fit me. It fit my lifestyle. But the key to both of those businesses are that you're helping people.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And that's the key for me, is to be able to give back, to help others in whatever it is that I do and that they need.
If somebody is looking, and again, we've had this same conversation with several other people, and it's been a unique perspective for everybody. If somebody's looking to start a franchise or become a part of a franchise owner, what piece of advice would you give to a person that's looking to maybe expand their portfolio or change what they're doing?
Yeah, I mean, really do a lot of research. This franchise is very new. The founder, Maya Ratcliffe, started it in Hawaii. That's where the name came from. And within 2 years, she was already franchising from the first time that she poured a painting. And there's a little bit of a learning growth curve that even franchises have to go through.
Absolutely.
And so,
because the franchise may have been there, but everything else around it's changing.
Yeah, well, there's just a lot of little things that they learn to help us, and so I've seen changes just in the short time that I've been there. So I might look, if I were to do it again, I might look for something a little more tenured, that they kind of have their system
More
down
answers to.
Yeah. But I looked at it also as, hey, I'm getting in kind of on the ground floor.
Sure.
And I did, actually, because there's a franchise fee that franchises charge when you buy a license, and that franchise fee has gone up 30% just since I purchased mine.
Sure.
So, I guess it's you just got to weigh all the options, but do a lot of research. Ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid.
What were some of the discussions that you and your wife were having before purchasing it, when you kind of settled on, hey, Hawaii Fluid Art looks like the right decision for us? There's always a reason not to, right? But there's always reasons to. What were those discussions, and what did they kind of sound like?
Well, I touched on a little bit ago about the reasons we really went in this direction, because we had a number of different franchise options brought to us.
Yeah. McDonald's just wasn't calling
McDonald's
your name, huh?
wasn't one of them. No. I was looking at a coffee thing, and I thought, I'm not a 4 a.m. sort of guy.
Sure.
So that one was out.
Not most people are, by the way.
But it was mostly about, again, I mentioned it earlier, the low cost of entry. I really liked that. The low overhead, I really liked that. The profit margins seemed to be solid. So I looked at it mostly from a business standpoint. And then the other part of it was what it brings to the community.
Yeah, it's very unique.
Yeah, it's unique. It's something new to do here in Omaha, that people haven't done before. And it's an experience, and that's what we call it. It's an experience. They're art experiences, and when you come in, most everybody are like, they're surprised in a good way. They're like, wow, this is really cool. I didn't expect this. And so that's why I always encourage people, even if they don't have a class booked, just come in and check out the studio.
Yeah,
it's a really cool place. We've got a bar in there, so if people want to have drinks while they're painting, it's available. We've got a gift shop. So you can come in.
Sorry about that. Not sure what just happened there.
You can come in and buy some unique things.
Walk us through what that process looks like. If we're talking about what if somebody goes to the website or they call in and they're trying to set up a studio time or come in and you guys host parties. If they were to do that, what does that process look like and how simple is it?
It's very easy. We have a booking link right on our website. So you go into the website, you look through the various classes that we offered.
Can you give us a little bit of rundown of what those are?
Well, we have the fluid art, we have the resin tumblers, we have charcuterie boards, we have the patch party hat and clothing design. You can choose. We're working on it real soon. We're going to be doing a coaster class. You can come in and make coasters. You can add wine glasses to it. So there's a lot of things you can book, and then you just pick the time that you want to go. The times are available, and you pay right online, and then you're good to go. But we do also encourage walk-ins.
Sure.
If you don't have a time booked and you want to walk in, that's great. And you can also phone in if you want. So those are the three ways to book. Now for the parties, if you do have a party, feel free to give us a call and talk to me or Joanne directly. For larger groups, we're always throwing out discounts for various promotions and that type of thing. So groups over, let's say 8 people, give us a call and we'll work something out with them.
That number is 402-953-8541 as well if you're looking to get a hold of Dave and Joanne. If we're talking about large scale, I'm talking companies, maybe company outings, things like that. What's the largest size group you guys think you can hold? Because it's a pretty decent sized studio. What do you think is the largest group of people you think you could hold? Do you have a max capacity number?
When the guy came in to give us our max capacity, he was really confused. He said it was 175.
Yeah, that might be a little much.
There's no way. No, so our friends and family event was our very first event we had the day before we opened.
Yeah, thank you for the invite, by the way.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it was, I think we probably had 60 to 70,
that sounds
75
right.
people. And when we get a group that size, which we love, we'll just rotate them in. It takes a little bit longer, but we'll probably.
But that's best case though, right? Because you want people to be able to have a good time, have work space to do their artwork in, things like that.
We could probably do at one time. We could do 20 fluid art paintings and probably 18 or so tumblers all at the same time. So if you had a group of 60, theoretically you could have half of them do their artwork and then switch.
Half hit sit at the bar.
Right, exactly.
When we talk about that portion of it, the alcohol portion, because there's obviously kind of a church and state type situation there, right, where you're very much running this art studio, but you got to be mindful of having a liquor license and being able to provide that type of a type of environment. Is there any part of that that's a struggle for you guys to kind of balance between the two? Does it seem to kind of go hand in hand from a business standpoint?
Well, I mean, not really. I actually am a little surprised. People don't
drink more.
They don't. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. They don't have as much. I think it's because they're just having too much fun doing their artwork, and so that surprised me a little bit. But I want. To me, it's a party venue.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a party place, our studio is perfect.
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah, we've got a lot of open space. We've made it very flexible. Almost all our projects, the art experiences, are done on folding tables.
Yeah.
And so we're able to move those around to open up space for bigger events. It works out great for us.
That's an interesting discussion, the folding table part, because I think a lot of people think art, party venue, probably expensive. I'm talking about like the setup process. We're probably going to need this expensive furniture. But then you start thinking about, wait, it's paint. It's going to be a lot of people and a lot of moving parts. The folding table experiment, is it something that you guys think it's long-term? That's the only way you're going to be able to do this model? Or is it something we might go bigger, standalone, in-place tables going forward?
No, I mean it needs to be flexible.
I think so too.
Because it's an event space. You need to be able to move things around. You need to make it look really nice when you've got people catering food and that type of thing. But you also always remember it's a paint studio. So I struggle with that with the floors.
Sure.
I want my floors to look good and be clean.
That's a conversation you and I had when you opened.
Having that, that's difficult. And even the folding tables, we use pads over the top of the folding tables.
Yep.
But the tables get hit pretty hard too.
Sure.
So you'll find me in there just one day for about 30 minutes, just scrubbing one table, trying to clean it up.
My daughter got a Play-Doh set for her third birthday this weekend, and anxiety through the roof just watching it go over. So I could kind of attest to that a little bit. We're catching up with Dave Triplett here from Hawaii Fluid Art on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing inside the Pyramid Contractor Studio. I want to talk about you and your journey for a minute here. We touched on a little bit ago. You used to run a furniture store with your sister. You've been a real estate agent, and now you're going into this venture. What are the biggest differences in those three professions? And how do you balance kind of moving on from working with family to working with your wife to also having this other business that's kind of a standalone by yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the furniture store was really cool, but it's a hard business. There's a lot of moving parts. I give my sister mad props for the way she handles that because it's a difficult business. The real estate is for me just a natural. It just comes easy. I just really enjoy. I've sold more than 500 houses, and that type of experience gives you a comfort level that you don't. It takes a long time to get to. And now, as far as the studio,
I want to make sure I say this correctly. It is Amish Furniture of Nebraska, right? Out of Elkhorn. So make sure you check out Dave's family's store. Go ahead. Sorry.
You so yeah, and with the studio business, as far as it, it's probably it might be the most rewarding of the three. With selling houses, I mean, let's say I had a good year and I sold 25 houses. That's 25 people. I can do that in a week in the studio.
Sometimes in a day.
Yeah. Next Saturday we have about 20 in one day. So I think the reward factor for helping people and
it's immediate, right? When you're selling a house, there's the walkthrough process and the paperwork. Somebody walks in, they make this beautiful painting, and there's a smile on their face an hour later.
Yeah, and you get and to have a grandmother bring their granddaughter in.
Yeah.
How many things in life can a grandma and a granddaughter, grandpa, grandson, whatever, how many things can they both do together?
That's a great point.
And enjoy it. There's not a lot. It's not, so grandma doesn't have to just sit there and watch anymore.
Which is usually what grandmas do when they take kids somewhere. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so knowing that, we put together a promotion that we run periodically. You can always find it on our Facebook or on our website. Where kids paint free. We have an adult, with each paid adult, a kid can paint free. And that's perfect for that scenario.
And again, that website is scrolling across the bottom of your screen now. So if you'd like to book a birthday party or one of the events that Dave was just referencing, please feel free to head over to omaha.hawaiifluidart.com to book today. When you look at having the furniture store in Elkhorn and the studio's out on North 132nd, not too far out from that community, but the Northwest Omaha/Elkhorn community. What has the response from the people around the business kind of been? Have you seen kind of an influx of how it's affecting the community already in any way?
Well, just like what I was talking about, the groups that come in. I had a financial planner come in, Aaron Osler, and he brought in his clients. And afterwards, his exact words were, he's been doing this for 14 years, and he says he's never had a response like this to any of his events.
That's incredible.
In 14 years, and to be able to get that and provide that to families and businesses and kids' birthday parties and all that stuff, that's what makes it all worth it. That's what the 7-day grind makes it worth it.
Yeah, if we're talking about what the ultimate goal is. If we're talking 10 years down the road, we've got 3 in Lincoln, 2 in Omaha, vice versa, or whatever. Do you have an end goal in mind for what you want to accomplish with Hawaii Fluid Art?
Well, I would like that. I mean, it'd be awesome to have a number of them opened up. And then my job would be just simply to go to each location and check things out, make sure that they've got everything they need, that they can do everything they need to help people have fun at their location, keep track of all that good stuff. So my job would be more like an area manager type position. That's probably the ultimate goal. I have a bad travel habit.
Sure.
I have a lust for travel, and so I want to be able to do that.
I'm
more
sorry. I'm
frequently.
sorry for your illness.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping I never get over it.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you.
But yeah, no. So be able to travel and then have somebody kind of
Run it for you.
Yeah, keep an eye
If
on things.
if we're talking about life balance, husband, business partner, business owner, real estate agent, franchisor, how do you balance all of it?
Well, I mean, you just
Travel addict. I forgot to throw that in
travel
there.
addict. Well, right now, travel is you just I don't do it right now. You
Sure.
just can't, But you just I guess each day you take what you need to do, and my wife, when I first met her, I had some. My backyard was a disaster, and I was like, it was too overwhelming. And she said, "Well, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time." And
right.
that's how I approach the businesses. You just do one thing at a time, one thing.
Is that hard for you to do?
Yes.
Same.
Yeah. I'm hyper creative, and hyper creatives are great coming up with ideas and terrible with follow through. So
Agreed.
yeah, and so
Self-admittedly.
I use an app that works very well to keep me organized.
Sure.
And when my brain hits something, I've got about 18 categories. I go into my app and put it in, and try and stay on top of it every day.
How do you deal with overflow of creative juices, I guess is the best way to put it? Because I think people that think like we do, it's idea. Do you struggle with, hey, this is a great idea, to get it moving and put in place, I've got to write it down and follow through with it? Or is it a matter of you're always going, so you can kind of do things, you can kind of build the airplane while you're flying it?
Yeah, no, I mean, 99% of the ideas are just they're ideas.
Sure.
And there's no way I could actually follow through with all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I tell you why I'm asking? So
Yeah.
we had a group of guys in here the other day. They're from the Omaha area. They developed a board game. And the way the board game came about is one of their brothers, and one of the brothers had a dream, woke up, wrote his dream down in the middle of it, and then woke up the next day and they designed this game together. For me, I would have never thought of that. So that's why I always think, like, okay, how do you balance your creativeness? And I love asking this question.
Yeah, and I've done that sort of thing.
Really? Okay.
A lot of times it's.
I need to invest in a piece of paper and a pen to put next to my bed.
I like to write songs, and I like to write commercials.
Sure.
And yeah, I've woken up and written an entire song in the middle of the night.
Wow. Yeah, so if anybody recognizes Dave's voice, there's been some infamous commercials in the Omaha area with his voice on it.
They're just in my most of them are just in my brain. I don't. You bounce things off people, and if things ever move forward, then that's great. But ideas to actual business life, those two are two things that are far between.
Sure.
Just because you have an idea, that doesn't mean it'll ever happen, because you don't have the wherewithal. I have a lot of app ideas. I have a lot of song ideas. I have a lot of business ideas, but yeah, you can only do so many, right?
Erica on YouTube reached out and said, I was thinking about coming to the venue the other day, but we weren't sure if we were going to have time. Just out of curiosity, what are some of the things that you can paint at the studio? So obviously we've got the tumblers and we've got a canvas. Yeah. Is there what are some of the other options that you guys have?
We have charcuterie boards. Those have been very,
that's right. Sorry.
Very, very hot. We also have cutouts. We've got some heart cutouts. We're just working on these sounds weird, but bears and bunnies.
Oh, sure.
They're these little white kind of plastic-ish bears and bunnies. They're really cute, and you could do a pour over them. But we're still, one of the things that we're very cautious of is bringing a product to the market too fast.
Making sure it works.
We want to make sure that we know how to do it. We want to make sure it makes a good class. There's a lot of ideas, but they don't make a good class. People have to feel like it's been a great experience. So.
Edward on YouTube wants to know, what time is the best time to bring somebody that's a minor or underage?
Well,
because of the alcohol, I'm assuming.
Really, anytime. Seriously, we're not. It's a studio, and that's not a bar. It's a studio first and foremost. So, anytime we're open. We actually have some new hours going into effect on the 29th. We'll be open from 1 to 7 on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 to 7 Friday, Saturday, and noon to 5 on Sunday. I would think Sundays would be busier. Right now, Sundays have been not as busy, so that's a good time if you're looking, for But all the time slots that we have available are on our website, so you can easily book them.
We're kind of hitting that half-hour mark where we like to shut it down. Is there anything about Hawaii Fluid Art that we haven't mentioned yet that we should let people know?
Well, again, it's just if you're looking for a fun experience, something different, something fun to do with a group, office parties, it's an incredible team building office party place to go. Just give us a call. Anybody listening right now, feel free to use, I'll give a promo code out just so if you want to book something, it's Ohana 808. Ohana 808. And that'll give them 15% off.
Can you spell that?
Yeah, OHANA, and then the number's 808. And use that promo code on our website. You'll be able to book a class and save 15%.
It's on the bottom of your screen right now. Get 15% off with one of your classes by using Ohana 808 at the website scrolling below at omaha.hawaiifluidart.com. Dave, thank you so much for doing this. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tomorrow we'll be back at 11 with Justin Clute from our friends at Nebraska Star Beef at 11 a.m. here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, talking about everything going on in the meat market, how the economy is affecting the trade, and a whole lot more. Brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing inside of the Pyramid Contractor Studio. We'll be back tomorrow at 11. Thanks for joining us. See you tomorrow.